Howdy, and welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast, where we have fun talking all things hunting, and in the process, do our best to support small and family-owned businesses in the hunting space. Here are your hosts and resident bandits, Jimmy Byrne and Richard Kinchlow. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Jimmy here, and I'm joined as always by the Corn Bandit, Richard. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Howdy, folks. Doing great. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Great. It's a nice warm day here in March. Looking forward to, turkey hunting starting up here pretty soon. And
I am too. Instagram has just been full of all these little teaser videos. It shows this gigantic thunder chicken making his way down the road, and you're getting all excited, and all of a sudden it's like, click on this link. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Yeah, but it's definitely getting me pumped up.
Yeah, getting a little itch there. But yeah, just a couple quick housekeeping items, before we dive in with our guest, who we're really excited to talk to tonight. Just a couple things. As I mentioned on our last podcast, I just wanted to mention again, we've been receiving some really cool gear and some really cool minerals and feed from several companies. We've been testing that out at El Rancho Bandito, and we will be testing more in the coming months. So, stay tuned for our podcasts for those reviews and those blogs, and stay tuned if you're not following us on our Facebook or Instagram at Feed Bandit, be sure to join us there. And we'll let you in on what we're finding out there. And another way that you can stay in the loop is by joining our email list. You can join the hunt by texting the word bandit to 345-345. And when you do, we'll send you deals on innovative hunting gear and services that we run across. We'll send those straight to your inbox. So you don't want to miss out. So be sure to text the word bandit to 345-345 and join the hunt today. Look forward to seeing you there. Well, in this episode, we are honored to be speaking with Art Griepp, inventor of Teammate Game Camera Mount, which you can find over at the tpostmount.com. It's simple, sturdy, and secure. Anywhere you can drive a post, you can mount the camera there. And what's beautiful about it, it's made right here in the great state of Texas.
Absolutely.
Hi, that's right. Hi, Art. Welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast.
Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Richard. How are y'all doing?
Oh, wonderful. We're excited to talk to you tonight and talk about the Teammate and just kind of get to know you a little better and, just see what we got in common and see how we can help you out. So I guess we'll just start off by, tell us about yourself. Tell us what you like to hunt and anything else you want to let our listeners know about.
Very good. Yeah, I've lived in Texas most all my life. I didn't get started hunting, that is, until fairly late in life, but got the bug really bad and love to hunt whitetail deer and turkey in particular. Dove hunting has got to be about my favorite day of the year, that September 1st opener. I mean, just love to dove hunt.
Well, you and Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to have
unfortunately, I usually only get in a couple of hunts for dove season. It's a busy time of year for me, but that first weekend, I always make sure I'm out there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I grew up in the Houston area. I've lived in the North Texas, Dallas area here for about 20 years, 25 years, I guess. I don't know. My wife and I have lived in this area, and we've been married going on 28 years, I guess, next month.
Right.
And we got one kid who's in college down at Sam Houston, and she's going to be an aspiring actress.
All right.
Nice.
And we have a little property out in West Texas where we hunt and test our products, and just looking forward to, like y'all said, turkey season. I guess we will have been out there by the time this airs, but we're really looking forward to this weekend, trying to get out there and get on some birds.
Absolutely. You mentioned you got a place out in West Texas. I think I saw, and I recognized that in some of the pictures on your website. I love the look of it out there and everything. You mind saying roughly where you hunt out there?
Not at all. It's south of Abilene, about an hour.
Okay.
And if you're familiar with that area, there's Coleman. We're about 20 miles south of Coleman and just to the east side of Lake Ivy.
Okay.
And technically, it's the very corner of Coleman County, southwest corner of Coleman County, and there's still what they call the Edwards Plateau, but we're at the very edge of it. So I'm hoping someday to see some exotics, some axis make it over there. I know they've been spotted in the area, but I've never seen them on my place.
I was just about to ask you, and every time somebody mentions the Edwards Plateau, it's my friend. Did you have any axes? You got any aoudad?
Yeah, I hope so soon.
They'll make it.
They'll make it within a couple of miles of there, but I've never seen them on camera.
Awesome. They'll be there. It's just like hogs, I've got some friends live up in Massachusetts. Like, yeah, we ain't got none of them stinking hogs. I go, yeah, just give it 15 more years. They'll make it up there, and they'll tear up your little pretty fall pumpkin patches and everything else you got up there. So,
well, I don't know if it's bragging or just denial, but I don't have hogs.
Do you really?
I have not seen any hogs. No,
really?
I haven't.
No,
and I feed year round.
Right.
I've got cameras up year round.
Sure.
And I've got water on my property, so
right.
They've got everything that should be causing them to show up on camera, but I haven't seen any.
Huh. When I had a lease, and I didn't. My father did in Throckmorton for 100 years, and that's kind of where I cut my teeth as a young man. And we got on there in '92. We did not sing a single pig. Really up until, it was probably 3 or 4. No, it was 2 years into it. We finally saw our first hog, and then they just disappeared. They literally disappeared for 8 years. And we had these big old, the kind of the stereotypical West Texas wheat fields, and you'd think they'd just be everywhere, and they disappeared, and then they came back. So that is crazy. You're one of the blessed ones, at least that your agricultural crops are, that's for sure.
Right. I don't do a lot of agriculture. I plant some buck forage oats out there to try and feed through the fall.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm just a small place. We don't really try and do a lot of farming on there.
Gotcha.
Now,
hopefully they'll stay away.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Unless you want them. I mean, you want to shoot them.
I'll go shoot them on somebody else's property.
There you go.
Right.
So is the property out there kind of where you got the idea for the Teammate game camera mount?
Actually, a friend of mine had property out there that I've hunted on with him for years and years. And I watched him one day just about lose it over having his camera knocked off by the cows for the 1400th time.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, there's got to be a better way to make that camera stay on a T-post. So I came home and started cutting metal and welding and came up with my first prototype. And it's gone through about 5 or 6 revisions since then, but it's turned into a nice little product and a good little business.
Awesome. Now, when did you start this? How long has it been on the market?
Well, I officially incorporated as a business April 2nd of 2014.
Okay. Wow.
And I guess I'd been around maybe a year before that before I tried to actually make a business out of it.
Okay.
But I was really literally just solving a problem for my buddy and myself. And I don't know if you're familiar with Texas Bow Hunter is a website, texasbowhunter.com.
Right.
Good forum with lots of discussion, and I've been active on there for a while, and so I was just kind of showing off my little DIY project.
Right.
And I said, "What do y'all think of this?" And they said, "Well, we think you better start selling them because we all want it."
That
was really
awesome.
the genesis of the business side of it.
Right. Well, I can tell you. So I've been a faithful follower of the Texas Bow Hunter, although I don't even bow hunt, which I probably shouldn't say too loud, since, like February 2009. And it is amazing how many products I've seen and ideas that were kind of spawned from that website. So it's a really awesome, tight-knit community and extremely supportive. So I've seen your ads on there and I've seen you post, and That's really cool. They kind of launched you. That's really neat.
Yeah, bunch of good guys on there. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we've ran across your product. We've seen it off and on and here and there, and it's just one of those things that it's like it's great how you built it, how you manufactured it, and
Right.
what it does for you, and how it solves a lot of problems. Especially let's say you don't have necessarily a good tree or sitting right there, within close enough to the feeder, or you need, but you do have the ability to put a T-post out there, and we Richard and I have experimented in the past before we saw your product, of course,
Right.
on making things on our own, and going to Home Depot and buying a lot of metal and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And, just kind of.
And I tell people that come up to me all the time at trade shows and stuff, say, "Oh, I made my own." I said, "Look, I'm not trying to compete with you DIYers. I mean, that's all I did when I invented it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just, I did the homework for you and got it where it works well." So
Yeah.
for those that aren't real familiar, it's essentially a mount that is a bracket for slipping over a T-post and latching onto the T-post securely. So again, where I was hunting in West Texas, your choices are a cactus or a mesquite tree.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
they just don't make real good straight mesquite trees,
Right.
especially where
No.
you need them.
And the
So-
cactus won't really work. So
Yeah, cactus doesn't work so good. Yeah. So everybody out there in particular drives a T-post to mount their game cameras, but what I discovered was, because my buddy's place where I was hunting, he had cows. Cows, for whatever reason, will seek out a camera on a T-post and figure, hey, that's a great place to go get scratched without getting
Right.
cactus thorns in me. So
Yeah.
they just come and tear up cameras. So there's so many products out there for mounting the T-posts, and a lot of them are plastic, or they have lots of little fiddly adjustable things on them, where the first time something rubs on it, your camera's pointing at the sky or looking at the ground and doing you just no good at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did, is I decided to come up with something a little sturdier that could, withstand a bit of abuse from, say, cows and pigs and even curious deer or birds or whatever. And so I did give up a little bit of adjustability, but it's not completely rigid. Most cameras mount from the bottom, so I built the camera mount portion of it on the bottom on a slot, so you can take that bolt knob loose and you can pan your camera left or right, depending on your camera, up to about 180 degrees.
Very cool.
And you can always set it lower or higher on the post if you want to get a little bit different look from it. And I don't have an option for tilting the camera, but those T-posts, they bend pretty easy.
Right.
So that's my patented solution for tilt up and down. Just bend the T-post a little.
Sure. Well, I will share with you. We actually have got a few. At the Rancho Bandito, as we call it, we've actually got a few of your T-post mounts. My father is an adamant game camera guy, and I swear to you, the second a new game camera he comes out, he's like, "Well, I'll take that one. Now let's go get this one." So he is pretty serious about his game cameras, and he gets pretty upset when they end up in the dirt, or like you say, they get rubbed off literally by the cattle. So we've got them, we use them, and they're fantastic. And he's not lying, folks. They really will withstand a beating. I will tell you what we do kind of with ours, which is I wouldn't say it's not really unique, but it's the fact I think it was an idea that we got from Texas Bow Hunter, is kind of where we hunt the soil. Getting a T-post down there, you've got to have heavy duty machinery, either that or a lot of luck.
A diamond drill.
Yeah, diamond drill, exactly. Which of course we have, but we don't use it for those type of things. Use it for our quarry. But so what we have done is we've gotten a one of the big box store buckets, either blue or orange, and we put a T-post in there, and then we fill it up with concrete. Attempt to make it straight, let it set, and then there we go. That's our portable little game camera.
Absolutely, I've recommended that solution myself. And what I'll do is I'll cut those T-posts in half because they don't need to be nearly that tall.
Very true.
And you can get 2 or 3 of them per setup that way.
Right. And that's actually a really good point. And so what Jimmy and I actually made some handful of years ago, and we actually used shorter T-posts, and they weren't the big ones that you were, not the big ones, but the thickened ones that they used for your typical 5-strand barbed wire fence. They were the smaller ones, and they seemed to work really well. And I know that my dad's made a couple of cents, and he's used the normal size T-post, and he has to be careful. He's got to kind of set it just perfecally, or if the wind blows wrong, it will blow over. But
that's another benefit to keeping them short. They you catch less wind and they're less likely to tip. Sure.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's a great deal.
Didn't we make those? Was it the night before?
We did, yeah. Yeah, so we will always remember when we built our first attempt at we'll always remember our first attempt at building game camera holders because they were the night before my daughter was born. Which is kind of crazy. She wasn't expected that day, and I certainly wasn't expecting her to come that following day, but is what it is, and here she comes. So
mark the occasion.
There you go. We'll always remember.
So tell us about the T-shade. So that's a little implement you can put above it for depending on how you have it angled towards or away from the sun. Is that kind of the idea there?
Just to back up a hair.
Okay.
Part of the beauty of having the T-post mount is the ability to properly position your cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So you typically want to get them facing north and south so you're not getting washed out by that morning or evening sun.
Sure.
Now, what the T-shade allows, if you have a setup where you really can't get it pointed north and south, it will help with a little of that low-angle sun glare. So basically, it just bolts to the back of the T-mate and provides a shelf, essentially a shade, over top of your cameras.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so it helps with the low-angle glare a little bit. It keeps the birds off, keeps the bird poop off. Gives the if you're one of the more northern climes, it keeps the snow load off your cameras.
Right.
That's a good idea.
In Texas, your biggest problem is the heat.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Absolutely, and those cameras are all made of plastic, and they may be UV stable plastic, but still a couple of years out in that direct sun, and that's about it. So if you can shade your cameras will last longer.
Right.
Plus, battery life is inversely proportional to heat. So if you can get them, cooler, your battery life's going to last longer.
Right.
So they just do a whole lot of good.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and at nighttime they're made out of a galvanized steel, so you get a little bit of a reflective bounce with your LEDs at night in your night photography also.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah, I mean, you some things so you don't think about it. I mean, a camera. Good ones, they cost money, right? So I mean, the longer you get life out of those, just by using something like that. I mean, that's great. Yeah.
Well, I run mine year round. I know a lot of people don't leave them out all summer, but I like to see the deer grow and develop and know when they're dropping their horns and when the fawns are birthed, so you can kind of figure out when your rut is by calculating it back. And I just like to see. For me. Especially with these new cell cameras where it sends the pictures to your phone, where you don't have to be out there to see what's going on. It's like hunting every morning and evening. You know? You could be at work doing whatever else you're doing, and you get a text, and you can check out your deer, and takes you away from the city stress, and you feel like you're sitting in the deer stand.
That is exactly what we talk about every episode. I mean, all 30 of my. I have to mention something about being stuck in this concrete jungle. So, and it gets progressively worse. By about July, I'm just downright negative. So,
I hear you.
Well, I like the fact that like you were saying that the product really adheres to the T-post, so it's going to keep it there. It's not like a strap. It's not like a strap or something of that nature that can come off really easily, because one of the things we talk about are the kind of the folks that they've got hunting leases that are, they're 6 hours away, and they go there, typically around dove season, right, to get the corn feeders going, and and they want to see what kind of deer they've got coming, especially the early ones for bow season. And I just, it's got to be really, really frustrating to show up and know that your camera's been scratched off on day 3.
Absolutely,
that's got to be the understatement of the century.
Necessity is the mother of invention. I say frustration was the mother of this invention, because I had that exact problem over and over again.
Right. Right. So I really like products like that that you can, not to steal Ron Popeil's line, but you can set it and forget it.
There you go.
I always wanted one of those, and I don't think they make them anymore. The big chicken cooker thing, whatever they are. So yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah. Well, it's college.
You talk about using straps too. Those straps, I have yet to find a strap that won't dry rot in the sun, or
that's
get
true.
chewed up by a squirrel or a raccoon or something.
Oh, that's
I'm not sure if you're familiar with another product that's kind of a little extension I have for the product. Also, I call it the Tree Mate, and basically what it does is it takes the place of a strap, so that you can mount to a tree. If you just have trees where you're at, I've taken this product all around the country.
Right.
Matter of fact, I took it into Birmingham, Alabama for just a gigantic whitetail show they have out there. And you talk about driving the T-post to mount a camera, and they look at you like you got a third eyeball in the middle of your head. It's like, we got a tree every 3 feet. Why do I want to drive a T-post,
I was just going to say, they got a pine tree every couple of feet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I specifically came up with that product for folks where, they're tired of trying to run a strap around a tree and have it deteriorate and get chewed up by critters.
Sure.
So basically, I guess, I'll just have to direct folks to the website to actually kind of see how this works. But the way the T-Mate attaches to a T-post, there's a latch pin that essentially slides through and locks it to the post. Well, what this product does is you screw it to a tree or a wood post, or even the siding on your house if you want to use it like a security camera.
Right.
And then the camera will just slip right over that.
Awesome.
And you can run a little padlock on it if you want to. And,
that's cool.
And lock it up, and then you don't have to worry about, dry rotted straps or critters chewing on them, that sort of thing.
Well, I was just going to say, I know that there's and I don't know if it's different, and other public hunting areas in the state of Texas at least, but you hear the stories all the time. In fact, I've read a lot on Texas Bow Hunter, where guys will bring out their $300 game camera, on the quote unquote their spot, and they get ripped off because some loser comes by and cuts the strap, something of that nature. So to have a padlock, to have that thing concreted in there, I mean, they spend enough time, I'm sure they can get it off, but hopefully it'll at least make people think twice about taking somebody else's property out there.
That's true, but I'll tell you, because I've heard every objection being in this business, obviously, but I will say this in full disclosure: most places that are public hunting won't allow you to put a screw into a tree.
Really?
So yeah,
they
have rules against it. And a lot of East Texas, those places they hunt are tree farms. So yeah, they definitely don't want any metal screws in their trees. Mm-hmm. But just full disclosure, I hear every objection there is, but
right.
I've got a solution for most of them.
Well, yeah, I tell you what, I think that we should contact the state tomorrow and say, listen, if you've got any cedar trees in your state park, you should put as many holes as humanly possible in them, of hopes of getting some sort of fungal disease in them and knock some of those suckers out.
Those blue junipers, they're a infestation, aren't they?
They're it's incredible. They serve a purpose. People ask us all the time, what about, of course, as we all know, we call them cedars. What about cedars? What about cedars? And I think that they definitely serve a purpose. They can be decent habitat. They're great natural blinds for turkey hunting. Speaking of, the season, but yeah, no, too many of them is definitely a problem, and we got too many of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they just make a law saying no straps, but you must put into cedar tree.
Right. That's awesome.
So, Art, tell us, do you have any new products that you're working on, or that you can talk about, or are willing to talk about, or?
Well, I've kind of been in talks with a gentleman who has a product that would be a good tie-in with mine, and we haven't really worked anything out yet. So,
okay.
Hard to say. I don't have anything personally new coming up, but I may have a good product tie-in by the time the show season rolls around this fall. We'll see.
Okay.
All right.
Will you be at the Trophy Hunters?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm planning to be before that at Hoff Powers Expo in Lampasas. Lampasas, April 13th. And then let's see, McAllen, the big show in McAllen is about the third weekend in July. That's really a good show. And then I'll do all the Trophy Hunter shows, which, I mean, goodness, Trophy Hunters, I'd hate to characterize it, but I bet I do half of my annual income at those three shows.
Golly,
they're fantastic shows. Yeah.
Oh, that's
where I met y'all, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And we'll see you again this year, at least at the Fort Worth one.
We'll come by absolutely.
Say hi.
Forward to it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Art, did you go? Doesn't Corpus Christi now have a show?
They did a show for a few years. Last year, I guess it was the year before, actually. Technically, it was the weekend of. Was it Harvey or was it another one? I forget. One of the hurricanes, anyway. So they basically canceled it and then rescheduled it for the following spring. So I did that spring show and I did fine, but it's kind of a tough time, and that area is more about fishing, especially in the spring. So
sure,
it was not quite as big a deal. So I think they're looking to either move the date or move the location. I'm not sure.
Right.
They haven't made a full decision on that, and
right.
I know they've talked about it.
Sure. No, I kind of figured down there, kind of in the Golden Triangle, it would be pretty hot, but yeah, like you said, it could be kind of a timing thing. That's why I love the fact that they're kind of in the late summer, because people like me are just about ready to let loose. So going to the show and seeing all the new gear, and it kind of gets you excited. So.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a crazy time for me. Like I said, I can barely keep up with demand for those three shows.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Now,
do you end up doing, just out of curiosity? Yeah, I was about to say that.
Are you making them all on your own, or? Well,
I started off making them completely on my own.
Okay.
Then I grew to the point where I really couldn't do that. So I had the base parts plasma cut, and then that ended up being kind of a bit of a tough deal, because the accuracy on the plasma wasn't quite where it needed to be. So I switched to laser cutting, and that was it was awesome, but they were very expensive to make.
Right.
And so the more recent iteration of it, I actually did the engineering and had a stamp made. So I have them stamped at a location up here in Grapevine area.
Okay.
And then they go over to a place in Rowlett where they're powder coated. Awesome. And then all of the assembly and labeling and packaging happens right here on my couch.
I love it.
I'm talking to you from the Gunny Art Products World Headquarters right here in my living room.
Nice. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Great. So I guess you guys use your corporate planes, like the Feed Bandit corporate plane. That would be Southwest Airlines, things like that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Well, that is really cool. I love the fact that you're a Texan building products for Texans. They're being bought by Texans, being assembled and packaged and all that by you can't get any better than that, I don't think.
But that's not to say that anyone else all around in the country can't use the can't use.
Well, that's true. A couple of weeks back, I was at the Backwoods show, which is the Oklahoma City spring hunting show expo, and up there I said, yeah, they're made in America. Those Okies, they're not real crazy about us Texans.
Right.
That's right.
Just know your audience. I guess.
Yeah, what you should have done? You should have had some a special dip with you, and you could have done them in the Sooner Sooner Maroon, or was that Crimson?
There we go.
Crimson, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. That's
So-
awesome.
So people can obviously find you at the shows that we talked about, but they can also come to your website and buy them. That's correct?
Absolutely. And the web address is the letter T, Post Mount, just all pushed together, tpostmount.com.
Great.
And for your listeners, I have set up a special coupon code, so shipping is free. Just use the word Feed Bandit, all pushed together in one word.
Oh, that's great.
I will ship them to you for free.
Oh, man.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. That's very nice.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
Oh, that's great. So everyone, just be sure you go to tpostmount.com. That's the letter T. How else can they get in contact with you if they have any other questions? Just through the website or shoot you an email?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And again, I don't know if we covered this, but the business name, it's kind of funny. You know, we go back to the Texas bow hunter thing. My screen name on there is Gunny Art because I was a gunner's mate in the Navy. And so my name is Art, so I just came up with Gunny Art. And well, when they kind of forced me into business, telling me they needed to buy my product, I was like, well, I need a business name, and I didn't have one, so I went Gunny Art Products.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love it.
if you're looking for me on Instagram or Facebook, it's Gunny Art Products.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with T-posts, but I wish I'd have thought of that before I got too deep into this business. I might have changed that, but anyway. So the website's easy enough to follow, though. It's just tpostmount.com. But if you want to find me on Instagram or Facebook, it's Gunny Art Products. And you're more than welcome to email me directly. My email is gunnyart@gmail.com.
Okay. Great. And we will link to your website. We'll link to your Facebook and Instagram and your email. Just so everyone, if they need to get a hold of you, they could do that and try to help you out that way. So awesome.
I answer my own phone. I'm happy to do it.
Beautiful. Is there anything else you wanted to let our audience know about?
Just wanted to say thanks again to you guys for what you do. I don't know how many folks realize this, but I mean, this is not some paid endorsement. This is just y'all trying to help out small business. And that's something that's really tough for us to get the word out sometimes. And you offering to do this is just a tremendous help. So thank y'all very much.
Well, thank you for coming on. And again, thank you for offering the free shipping code as well to our listeners. Obviously we encourage everybody out there to get you some T-post mounts. Not just one. You probably have several feeders and several areas, draws, or whatever you want.
While you're getting free shipping, I mean, make it count.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So I'm sure everyone's out there noticed, several lanes that the deer walk through. You want to get some pictures there too. So get a few of those things and set them out there. So well,
and being able to mount to a T-post. Again, I guess we covered this a little bit, but it's more the convenience of putting it where you want it, and it makes your camera work better. Mm-hmm. So, if you're not on a tree that's swaying in the breeze, and if you've got it positioned 50 yards from, your feeder, because your camera, triggers at 50 yards, and you're not facing the sun in the west, and, your cameras work better. So I rarely get pictures on my cameras that don't have critters in them of some sort. I'm not getting 1,000 pictures of the sky or every time the wind blows a tree swaying and pictures of nothing.
That is a great point. I mean, that's a great point because, you spend this money on these cameras and, you could easily put it in a terrible spot just because, you don't have any other way to put them out there any better. And you're not getting any of the value that you spent on that camera.
Right. Absolutely. Plus, you're going to spend an hour going through 10,000 pictures.
Exactly. Of wind.
All the blank ones.
Like you said, one leaf or something.
Yeah, grass.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, okay. Well, great. Art, thank you so much for coming on the Feed Bandit podcast. It's been fun. Really fun. And we look forward to seeing you in Fort Worth this summer.
Hey, don't hesitate to let me know if I can help y'all out in any way. If you need more product, just let me know. I'll be happy to send it your way.
Okay.
We appreciate it, sir.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and you have a good one.
Thanks again.
All right. Take care. All right. Well, folks, that was Art Griepp. He's the inventor of T-Mate game camera mounts, which you can find over at tpostmount.com, and that's T-Post-Mount, and with a T, letter T, obviously, because we're talking about mounting these on the T-posts. So be sure to go over to his website, and don't forget, he's graciously and generously offered for you to get free shipping on your order. If that's if you use the coupon code FEEDBANDIT, all one word. So use that over at his website and get as many of the mounts as you can, as you need, and maybe get a couple for in storage, so that whenever you add some more feeders or you find another area that you want to start patterning some deer or other animals at, you can deploy those out there. So just be sure to remember to use the code FEEDBANDIT over at tpostmount.com, and you will get free shipping. So, well, Corn Bandit, that was fun. That
was really cool, and
that's
yet
the kind
another
of stuff we like to we love to do. Talk to fellow hunters like that, and especially ones like Art, who's obviously passionate about what he's built and
no doubt
the products that he offers, and that's the kind of stuff that we really love getting out there and love talking about.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, I've used them. I still currently use them, and they really, really are simple and easy. And there's, and especially in Texas, there's just so many T-posts and a lot of good opportunities to put cameras on them, not only around your feeders, but as Jimmy alluded to, the trails and roads that intersect, whatever it may be out there. And let's just face it, the straps don't work. I mean, they'll work for a little bit, but eventually they will rot away. And I've had it happen to me. Something else that we didn't mention with the straps, and this drives me absolutely crazy. When you go to strap a camera in, they typically give you a strap that's long enough to put around a redwood tree, which we have none of here.
Right. It's
so what I end up doing
on.
is So what I end up doing is I end up coming up with this crazy knot type thing, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's perfect. It won't flap in the wind like a dog tail or whatever. And let me tell you, sure enough, the first every other picture when I check them is that stupid strap that somehow came loose minutes away after I drove away. Yeah. So
triggering the camera. Yeah.
Oh no, and I'm dead serious too. In fact, I think I may try to find it. And it's funny because the first couple pictures, like, oh my God, what is that? Some sort of green wave came by. It must be Tulane.
We need to post one of those.
Yeah.
Don't let this happen to you.
Oh God, it's so frustrating. And then the only good thing is you can kind of minimize your view and you can look and see the first 3,000 or 4,000 pictures of that, and then you can sort through them. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, this is the T-post mount, the T-mate, and the T-post mounting is definitely something that makes your life a lot easier, and
it really does.
And like we said at the very end, it actually makes your game camera valuable, or at least you get the most value out of your game camera by using something like that.
For sure. Now, I did not know about the little roofs, which is something that I've always wanted to do. But that's not, I mean, unless you know how to grind and weld, there's just not a lot of really, quick turnkey solutions out there that you can do. So it's really cool that they've got a roof on them.
Yeah, the T-shade.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Which is a great name, by the way. I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yes. So yeah, everybody, be sure you go over to tpostmount.com, use the code FEEDBANDIT, all one word, and fill up your cart and get free shipping on whatever it is that you buy over there. So don't miss out. Be sure to take advantage of that gracious offer. Thank you, Art.
Yes, thank you.
And with that, you got anything else?
That is it, my friend. Keep well. I always say that, and then I always coming up with something. It's still keep those protein feeders going. We should start to see antlers. In fact, I bet you some portions of the country are already starting to see a little velvet nubs. So it's pretty exciting.
No better time to put out your game cameras on a mount.
Yep.
On the T-mate.
Yep. Yeah, and again, I know we're trying to wrap up here, but people use game cameras all the time to scout for deer and things of that nature. Well, you can also use them for turkey. I mean, God, it's funny. We had some cameras out at Rancho Bandito, and I started, I checked all of them. And I started seeing all these turkey pictures. I'm like, oh, it's kind of boring. And I thought, wait a minute. This is good stuff, so I can potentially get, some sort of maybe pattern on them. So it just kind of dawned on me, hey, hello, you can use it for that. So, yeah,
right.
Year-round game cameras is not a bad idea.
That's right. And I was looking on Art's Facebook page, and he actually posted a picture of exactly what you're talking about. It was a picture of awesome. A feeder with two gobblers, looks like walking into the feeder, so saying 2 weeks and these fellas are in trouble. So.
Nice. Two love-struck thunder chickens.
There you go.
I love it.
All right. Well, that was fun. That was fun. Looking forward to the next one. So until then, everybody out there, be good. Take care.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. If you want to find new and innovative hunting gear and service providers not typically offered through the traditional big box hunting stores, come on over and join the hunt at feedbandit.com/join. When you join, as a bonus, you'll get our entertaining free e-guide of unique hunting tips and tricks. And a reminder to all you small businesses, feed stores, gear inventors, or entrepreneurs in the hunting space, if you'd like to get more exposure to potential customers by being featured on the Feed Bandit podcast, please let us know. We'd love to discuss what we can do for you and your business. Go to feedbandit.com/promote. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, as it would really help us out. Go to feedbandit.com/iTunes. Thanks everyone for listening. Until next time, please remember to support your local feed store.